Yes, please.
Hi, everybody. Tamara Childs here with Ruth McCants for our weekly energy update. Hi, Ruth.
Well, hi, Tamara. I just was having a nice laugh here as you were talking about your hair in Aquarian fashion.
Yes, yes, Aquarian, Aquarian. Today is February 15th, 2018, and we're here. This is the day of the new moon solar eclipse. And wow, I guess we've got quite a lot to talk about. It's interesting because, we had that tragedy in the news. I just want to say that because it's sort of weighing on people today. It got me thinking so much about the broader picture of our country and how things are going and watching people be upset and in distress. And somehow I was expecting the cards that I drew to be reflective of that. But then I remembered that this is an energy reading for everyone who's watching, and it's an energy reading for this next week. And what we're going to focus on today are what this eclipse is signaling inside of us. Let's put it that way. Any words you want to say on that before we continue, Ruth?
Well, as true to Aquarian fashion, because Aquarius is part of the collective mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, of course, is individual, but it is taking the broader picture. So I think Aquarius is really giving us a message with solar eclipse that all of us collectively are needing to come up with a bigger vision.
Thank you for saying that. It is so much about that. And it's funny because it just snowed and we have all this pounds and pounds of this fluffy snow. And I went out and there was a place where then the sun came out and, I was shoveling a little and I was down where the tire meets the road and where it forms grooves in the snow. And I took a picture way down with my iPhone, which is what I had, because it looked like diamonds sparkling in the sun, but it was a close-up of the tire imprint. And it reminded me of the phrase where the rubber meets the road. And I was thinking that first of all, there's a lot of energy in the collective of being scared right now. And at the same time, there's this opportunity to look at, and sometimes what we're scared of is when we are starting to have a wake-up call and we're realizing something's not working. And we do need a bigger picture. And right now we're also very focused on, does the rubber even meet the road? Do our voices matter? How are we on the ground with anything here? Where are we?
And the truth of the matter is, every voice matters. That's part of, that has been part of the challenge. In great part, people have diverted their voices and said, okay, I'm nobody. All of them are somebody, but I'm nobody. And that's not the truth. And Aquarius, above and beyond, we had sun in Aquarius, for a few more hours, we have the moon centered. And then we've got this eclipse. And what it's putting a punctuation point on is the uniqueness of every person. And that means each one of our voices is unique. We're needed. We're just needed. Everybody's needed.
Well, we are needed. And I want to say that there's almost like this thing happening that's like a mirage, where we imagine that somebody has the answer over there and we think they've got it going on. And then we look more closely and we look at the tire imprint. And we're like, something's wrong over there. Or we're seeing, I'm trying not to be specific about some of the things I'm seeing, but basically there's a lot of awareness right now, whether it's in the media or working with media platforms, or whether we're looking at politics or what's happening at schools and universities. There's a lot of a focus on, gosh, we're in this system. It doesn't seem to be working. You know, we need a new thing, not just a new school. We need a new everything. And to me, that is the Pluto in Capricorn. And then when we have this new moon eclipse in Aquarius, I feel like handing the mic over to you. But how do you feel about this new moon eclipse in Aquarius? The new vision, you mentioned that.
Well, that's the starting place too. The starting place is to actually take a hold and trust that we can each see, because we each are getting information all the time.
Yeah, we are.
And intuitively, it's about trusting that, because Uranus, as the governing planet, ruling planet, guiding planet, does not, we either have to do the vision or something very, very, very sudden will occur. It's the planet of sudden changes. It's the planet of major wake-up calls. So I would say that let's make choices to open ourselves and be willing to look at that new vision. Well, or Uranus will do it for us.
Well, and remembering that Aquarius and Uranus is that bolt from heaven, and it's that higher mind, higher frequency. When you have thought things through and can't figure things out, Uranus comes in and says, let me bonk you on the head with something. And so to me, the new moon Aquarius, since it's ruled by that Uranian energy, it's saying inside each of us is a spark, not only of the divine, but of divine inspiration and inspired action. Because, you know, like, for example, with the shooting yesterday, I saw so many angry, upset posts about, you know, prayer doesn't work anymore. We need action. Well, we need both. We need directed thought as prayer, and we also need action. But we also need a new vision, like you say. We can't just keep beating our heads against the same stone wall and expecting something different to occur. And mostly what I'm seeing is emotionally people are having distress signals, like that they're very upset and they're very sad, but they don't know what to do. And then they're just angry at the system. And I think when you mention a new vision, it speaks to me of system. Like, what are the systems we're using to build our lives and to do things with? Because things are moving quickly and there's room for invention here.
Invention, remember, Aquarius is an air sign, which is about communication. It's also a sign of communicating with others. It's a sign of friendships and groups. And so part of that new vision is being willing to align and create alliances with other people who may seemingly be different, because Aquarius loves to work with people who are different. And we're going to have to give up the old way of, I'm only going to be with my little group and you be with your little group. No, it's saying it's got to be broader than that.
Oh, see, I love what you just said. That is so brilliant. I'm seeing so many of us and so many people in sort of their little groups or cliques. A lot of the anger that I see sometimes on social media, which I love to mention, I guess because I'm an Aquarian, I'm always interested in the broad strokes of, you know, what's happening, what are people expressing today? And often it feels to me like it's about, why don't you see this as I do? And I even saw a post by somebody locally who, in big letters, you know, you can do this now, make a great big postcard with huge writing and put it out on social media. It said, take down your post if somebody says it's fake news, or, you know, if you've checked it out with Snopes, and, you know, don't just leave it up there for people to marinate on. And it's funny to me that people are actually trying to read the riot act to other people without respect to that person's emotional nature and their history. And maybe they are enjoying the story that they are putting out. And there are other people who are trying to snuff it out, like, stop that. But that's the other thing about Aquarius, is it's about tolerance. It's about tolerating that there are a million realities and a million viewpoints.
You know, I want to say right here, we need to bring, and often Saturn gets a bad rap, but
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Because we have to bring the Saturnian energy in the sense that nobody is getting away without doing some real work.
That's true.
That's what this is all about. And that real work is being willing to take step by step, day by day. Let's take the Aquarian vision and work together, because Saturn says you're going to get a realistic view of this no matter what happens, however long it takes, it's going to occur.
I appreciate that you put that in there. And I think we're heavy with Saturn right now, and people are trying to have somebody else lift that weight for them, but it's just not going to happen. So let's focus on our darling people who watch this and offer our cards today. As we know, and I don't know yet what you have or what I got, but I'm going to start with my first card. It's funny that you mentioned new vision, because what I got was the Three of Wands, virtue. Let's see, this is Sun in Aries, and I like it because it kind of matches my sweater. And it's funny. It's funny because my week personally has not been a tangerine week. The tone of my week has been a little bit more, grays, and so I was like, I'm gonna put on some tangerine today. I'm gonna feel like there's something else. And it's funny that I drew this card because it's very tangerine-y. And this has to do very much with what you said a moment ago, that creativity is called from each of us right now. And we can join with one or two other people or with new people and find a new vision through that cooperative effort of putting that energy with two others or with a small group of others. And so I encourage this week. Show me.
I got, let's see, along with you, I actually picked 6 cards.
Oh, you did? Oh.
but this is really interesting. I'm going to do them in parallel.
Okay.
Tandem here.
All right.
I'll start with, I've been wanting a Voyager tarot, and I've got this card twice, these 2 cards twice this week. Called the Fool card. That's the number, the inner child, the Fool card, but it's saying, I would say this is partly Aquarian, even though it's the star is the Aquarius card. This is trusting the universe.
Yeah.
That's the number 1 part. Then the 4 of Wands, aspiration. We've got to begin to re-aspire. If you take, because the inner child and quote unquote the Fool part, the part of us that knows that life will provide, they come together in aspiration. I'm going to put all 3. And then I have the 8 of Worlds, which is change, the change and transformation. So it's trusting that we will be okay.
Yeah.
That we have to aspire toward this new vision, and that whether we elect the change is going to happen. It's not, it's not like, oh, I don't want to change. It says, okay, don't change, but you will change if you don't change.
Well, and something that popped in immediately when you showed the Fool card is, that is about trust, and it's about trusting impulses that are guiding you. Like when you keep wanting to do something, but you're prove it, mind is trying to ask you, well, how are you going to do that? And nobody else is doing that. And it's about trusting yourself as a bit of the universe. That you wouldn't have the impulse unless it were something that were good for you to do. Now, I also got 2 very interesting guiding cards for this 3 of Wands. I got the Prince of Cups, which is a guiding principle of emotional mastery, and those that embody that. This is like the wise father counselor from inside or outside of you. Someone to I think in the lives of people watching this, that this may be a week where you are the counselor or you are the counseled. And it's okay to be either one, and to trust in that there is someone there to hold your heartfelt needs and the precious things of your heart, that those are precious, and you need to talk with someone who treasures you and who is qualified to guide you. And the second card, I always love getting this card, is the Queen of Pentacles, or the Queen of Discs. And she's that mastery of the physical realm. And whenever she comes up, I feel like telling people, be aware of your queendom, your the mastery of what you master, like the realm that you live in and master, and own it. And
we talked about that somewhat last week, because the whole, again, referring back to Saturn and Capricorn, it's not the old governing, it's the new leadership that has to be acquired on the inside of self. I like that, the Knight of Cups.
Yeah.
Because I think we embody both the counselee, and the muse and the wise self that can counsel us from the inside out. We embody both.
Here's an Aquarian example of the things we're talking about today. You notice that the school system sucks, and you are an educated person, and you're a smart person, and you decide to teach your children at home, either to supplement their income or to teach them at home. A lot of people do that. And, sometimes it can become something that's smaller than the outside educational system, but sometimes it can be even bigger. I had, my parents are both Ivy League educated folks, and they were teachers for years. And when I was going through school, I was one of those kids where, like, we moved to a new area, and I was in 7th grade. At the end of 7th grade, the teacher was asking the 8th graders, well, where are you going to high school? And he asked me, well, where are you going to high school? And I said, well, I'm in 8th grade, Mr. So-and-so. And he was like, oh. And so he had a meeting with my mom. He's like, well, we don't have anything left for her here. And so my mom was like, well, do you want to go to the local high school, or would you like to create a curriculum at home? And I decided to do the home curriculum. And so what happened when we took that freedom, and of course she knew how to kind of do what she needed to do that, but I got to take French lessons from a Dartmouth student. I got to, take some I just took a lot of interesting classes that we took trips, it was fun. It was fun, and I got to really, the subjects I struggled with, I got to continue to, slow growth with those, and I got to really fly with the ones I was good at, and I feel like that's almost an Aquarian note.
Yes.
That right now, if there are things you're struggling with that are just, that the system in your life is telling you must do, why don't you just decide to put that on the slow burner and to move forward with the thing that makes your heart sing and makes you fly.
Thank you. I love that. Do it for yourself. That is the new leadership.
Yes. Because when you do it for yourself, so an Aquarian ideal is that every person is a facet in this gorgeous mosaic, a human mosaic, and that each person adds a different little chip. Mosaics are made from broken pottery. And here we are with you can make art out of a broken history, and heartbreak, makes it into country music songs. And, when the political system when the food supply goes down, we can garden. There are a lot of ways to turn things into something that uses the resources of everyone.
And when you said the broken pottery, but it also reminds me that with the Aquarian idea of this uniqueness, each one of us is part of the perfection, because that's an Aquarian idea. The perfection of each soul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to show these cards right quick.
Okay.
And they're going to be, these are the Aboriginal Spirit Oracle. They're going to be put together. They're going to, because they came together. When I picked them, they just really broke by standing for yourself, because that's the only way we grow. And you see, there's like a rose. Now, roses have thorns for protection.
Right.
But at the same time, each one of us, if we take on the uniqueness, that Aquarian uniqueness, what will we get? We will get growth. The next one is wealth of all kinds, abundance. Each one of us is sitting right now on that abundance if we're willing to do for self. That doesn't mean you have to walk alone, because we just made the point that we don't have to walk alone.
Yeah.
We can walk with others who want to make a difference. And then the last one is, I think, together we sit in stillness and ask for that. Here's that vision again. I think that lighthouse is repeating the theme of this collective vision. And so
what is the word on that one?
Stillness.
Oh, stillness.
Go into the stillness.
Yeah.
To receive what the future is trying to send back to us.
Well, and it's also an image of a lighthouse.
Yes.
And so each of us is a light. You know,
that's right. Absolutely.
For someone, and sometimes we will look at other people's lights and think that's not a light. Or somebody's looking at us and going, I don't think that's a light. But you are. Everyone has a light for somebody, and it doesn't matter who you appeal to or who you don't appeal to. This is it for everybody. So
one thing I want to say about that light, because this is a solar eclipse, we're talking about the brightest light, the brightest luminary in the sky with the sun.
Yes.
And each one of us is being asked to shine, again, shine that light. And particularly with an eclipse, whatever we decide, this is a perfect opportunity to decide one thing, at least today, while we have this new moon energy so concentrated. Because what you put in motion, what you activate, is going to really reverberate over the next 6 or 9 months.
It's true. It's true. I can attest. I mean, this new moon kept me up last night. I was just in my own. It just felt like there was so much energy. It felt so, very electrified to me.
Isn't that interesting? Because when new moons come, now I wake up and walk around on the full moon, but when the new moon arrives just after that, being in the dark, I want to sleep. And true to form, you wake up and I go to sleep.
Well, and it just depends on, how we're built. And yes. I've seen a number of comments that sleeping has been difficult. So thank you all for watching. And, we welcome your comments. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this. And if you want to see more. We may be changing the schedule upcoming, and that's, just to accommodate life and its many changes for us. But we are still available to you, and we will definitely be offering you some future videos. So thank you so much, Ruth. This was really fun.
It was. Happy new moon, everybody.